And we're live. Hi, friends. I am Yolanda. I am co-founder of Harper Therapy. I'm here with Catherine of Anitya Doula Services.
Perfect.
This is going to be a really fascinating, amazing conversation. I'm really thankful that you are here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, many people have heard of a doula, right? In your experience, their experience of a doula is around pregnancy, birth.
Right. They expect somebody, or they've heard of the term. If they have, it's about, it's surrounding the birth experience.
Right.
Yeah.
But you do something different.
I do.
Yeah.
So I'm an end-of-life doula or a death doula.
Yeah.
And I help people, mostly people who are entering the last few stages of their life. It could be anywhere from a couple of days to a couple of years even. And some people, especially since the pandemic, a lot of people want to get their plans in place even before a diagnosis. And so I've heard from some people for that too. And so I just take what for many is a very mysterious and somewhat frightening experience. And I answer questions. I mediate uncomfortable conversations with family members. And usually by the end of our conversation, you can see the relief just in their very being that this isn't going to be as scary as they thought. And we're actually going to put everything in place that they need to have a really good, joyful death.
So what I find amazing is that you stand head to head with the fear and uncertainty around death that we have as a society, kind of in a similar way that we stand head to head in the fear and uncertainty around trauma. And share with us how this all came to be, because this is something that you've done unofficially kind of your whole life, like your whole life experience point.
Yeah, I think it has. So my background, as you know, when I was growing up, is Irish Catholic. We have a very specific relationship with the dead and with grief rituals that I believe is so very healthy. Just to spend time with people who are dying, not to be afraid of it, that this is a part of life. To surround the person with a lot of love and a lot of joy, and then afterward care for their bodies, make sure that you celebrate their life. And so when my friends or family would have questions or need an advocate, they would often come to me. And then professionally, I was an advocate for about 30 years in different, campaigns, mostly issue campaigns. And so I learned how to advocate for people besides myself, besides the people I loved. And like I said, I did that for about 30 years. And in between those 30 years, I taught high school for 8 years, mostly special needs learners. So I learned a lot through that. I also was a mom. I still am a mom, but I was a different, like a full hands-on mom. I think that really helped and taught me a lot. And I was also a columnist at the Tampa Tribune and Creative Loafing for about 10 years. And again, bringing advocacy into that, getting to know people, telling their stories, so that when this pandemic happened and I was looking for advocacy outside of the political realm, I had been a volunteer at hospice, it really spoke to me. And one of my very dear friends said, I really think you should look into death doula work. And I had never heard of it. So I researched it, I looked into it. It seemed like the perfect fit to be able to take all these different pieces of my background and put it to work to help people who really need it. If the pandemic taught us anything, it's that. And so I really think it's important for doulas to look at the best kind of training because it's so new. And I picked the University of Vermont. Their end-of-life doula program is fantastic. And I got to do it remotely. And so I did that, and then I joined the National End-of-Life Doula Alliance, which promotes the best practices. And I really feel like I've surrounded myself with the best preparation. And so for the past 6 months, it's been official, and I'm getting to know that part of our community now.
And you're right. I mean, the pandemic has taught us that we're not meant to go through these hard things in life alone.
Right.
Yeah. So who is a good fit? Who can make use of your services?
It's really, I'm meeting so many different kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
I will serve whoever needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a sliding scale, so I will not turn anyone away.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone deserves a good death.
Mm-hmm.
I'm primarily interested in serving marginalized communities,
Mm-hmm.
places where they really need the help of an advocate. They don't, they have lots of questions, lots of fear. But I also am really lucky to meet lots of different people.
Mm-hmm.
I work a lot in the Jewish community here in Tampa, but coming from a Catholic background, I'm very comfortable and familiar with those rituals as well. And so really it's anybody who's kind of facing a terminal or serious illness and they're a bit confused. Maybe they're scared about what death might be, and they want somebody there who's going to walk with them through it. I can help people understand what the process is going to look like, probably, and then be there to help them kind of figure it out as they go along. I also help people, a lot of times people don't know, loved ones don't know what to say. They come into a person's home and they're so scared to talk or say the wrong thing that they often don't say anything. And this also can result in people not visiting. And so what I like to do is help the client set up a space in their home that's warm, that's loving. And I also talk to the visitors that come in and let them know what the situation is and how to be comfortable with silence and to be comfortable with just holding somebody's hand. That by itself can do a world of good for the person who is about to leave. And just to kind of understand what those different phases are like, and hopefully by the end they understand. And so far it's been really rewarding to see people, their fear just dissolve. And they realize that this is actually a sacred time, a wonderful time, and we don't have to be afraid of it at all.
So I actually was just going to ask you, what do you wish that people knew about, about death, about using doula service?
Yeah.
In addition to what you just said so beautifully.
Well, we could sit here and talk for hours.
Absolutely, we could.
I think one of the main things is, I hear people say all the time, I don't want my loved one to die alone. And I get that. And so we do what we can to make sure that there's visual support 24/7. But so often, the person who is passing away waits until the loved one goes to the bathroom or goes and takes a shower or goes and takes a little bit of a break. And part of my job is try to help people understand that that's perfectly normal and natural. And nobody's alone, because people who have near-death awareness, I would say 80 to 90% of them experience visits. These are loved ones who have often passed away before them, and they feel they're having conversations that the rest of us cannot hear, cannot see who they're talking to, and they're filled with overwhelming relief, peace, love. They know that they're going to be guided at some point. And so if I could reassure anybody, it's that none of us are alone at the end.
And it's not as scary as we make it out to be.
It's not scary at all. If you have a good plan in place with hospice or palliative care, they will keep you comfortably, physically comfortable, but the rest of us are there to provide emotional and spiritual support. So,
and that's what you do so beautifully. The doctors take care of the physical.
That's right.
You take care of the emotional, spiritual, relational.
That's right.
Yeah. I love it. Anything else that you'd like people to know?
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
I write about something new every week.
Okay.
Because it's part of how I communicate and it's part of my background.
Is that on your website?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
we have linked on your website.
Yeah, and so really, you know, if, whatever it is, it seems like weekly, like people don't know what to say when somebody passes away. So I write about that, or somebody wants to voluntarily stop eating and drinking, which I've had some clients who need assistance or support with that. So I talk about that. There are so many topics, and each individual person is different. So I would, the more people I meet, the more I want people to know about and help in any way I can.
It's beautiful. What you do is beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so everyone check out the beautiful work that Catherine is doing. The website is linked here on the Facebook information as well as your Facebook page. And you can read up on what not to be afraid about, and
That's
know
right.
that there's support.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, it's great to meet you today.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It was great to meet
everybody.
you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.